I want to talk about something that goes against the grain of today's world, a world that loves to broadcast every small victory, every step on the journey, every minute detail of what we're doing, especially on social media. We live in an era where people are encouraged to show up and show out, where everyone is their own publicist, trying to prove their worth to the world. But what if, just for a moment, we step back from the spotlight? What if we put our heads down and focus on the work itself? Let's talk about working hard in silence. When we work hard in silence, we're not doing it for applause or praise. We're doing it because we're invested in the journey, because we believe in the goal, and because we know that the satisfaction of achieving something isn't about who's watching, it's about who we become along the way. Working in silence allows us to focus fully, to build our strengths, and to avoid distractions. It keeps us grounded and centered on what truly matters. When we talk about working hard in silence, the first thing we need to understand is that it's about focusing on the process, not the applause. In today's world, there's a prevailing culture that demands recognition at every step of the way. Social media, for example, has transformed how we perceive success. It's no longer just about achieving something significant. It's about sharing every moment of that achievement in real time, broadcasting it to the world. People take pride in showing off their hard work, their milestones, and the steps they've taken to get to their goals. But here's the truth: working in silence is about taking the focus away from others' opinions and putting it squarely on the actual work and growth. When we focus on the process, we allow ourselves to immerse deeply in the work itself. We stop thinking about the external validation that might come from others' reactions, and instead we place our energy into the quality of the effort. It's about creating something that is meaningful, purposeful, and significant, regardless of whether or not it is acknowledged immediately. In fact, one of the most powerful aspects of working quietly is the ability to avoid distractions. Too often, we find ourselves caught up in the desire for instant recognition, or the fear that our efforts might go unnoticed. The desire for applause can derail us from our true purpose. When we seek constant validation, we can lose sight of why we started the work in the first place, or what kind of impact we hope to make. Working hard in silence removes that need for external approval. It allows us to stay focused on the real goal, which is growth, mastery, and progress. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world around us, but by choosing to work without constantly seeking attention, we enable ourselves to grow stronger, sharper, and more resilient. When we remove that external pressure, we can truly enjoy the work itself, savoring the small wins and learning from the setbacks without the need to explain or justify ourselves to anyone. By focusing on the process, we also give ourselves the freedom to fail. Failure becomes just another part of the journey, not a reason to stop or to seek reassurance. In a world that often demands perfection, it's liberating to know that you can make mistakes and learn from them without feeling judged or criticized by others. This mindset of focusing on the process instead of the applause allows us to grow organically, to build something real, and to develop skills and expertise that can't be faked or rushed. When we embrace the idea of working in silence, we are doing so because we believe in our vision. We understand that success is a long game, not a quick fix. It's about trusting that our work will eventually speak for itself, and that if we keep showing up and putting in the effort, we will eventually see the results, even if they don't come right away. This kind of patience is essential to achieving lasting success, because success that is built on the constant need for attention is often fleeting. The real breakthroughs, the ones that change lives and make a difference, usually take time and perseverance. Focusing on the process allows us to develop a deeper connection with our work. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving to ourselves that we are capable of creating something great. The satisfaction doesn't come from telling people what we're doing or how hard we're working. It comes from knowing that every day we are making progress, however small it may seem. That sense of personal accomplishment is far more rewarding and lasting than any applause could ever be. When we shift our mindset to valuing the work itself over the external recognition, we also develop a deeper sense of self-worth. We begin to rely less on the approval of others and more on our own internal compass. We stop measuring success by the number of likes or comments we get and start measuring it by the progress we see in ourselves, in our craft, and in our goals. This is the kind of success that truly builds character and resilience because it is grounded in the quiet confidence of knowing we are doing something meaningful. Working hard in silence is about understanding that our true value isn't measured by how much recognition we receive or how quickly others notice our achievements. It's measured by the dedication, persistence, and passion we put into our work. When we focus on the process and not the applause, we create a foundation of lasting success that is built not on validation from others, but on our own relentless commitment to growth and excellence. Working hard in silence allows us to avoid distractions and stay grounded, which is one of the most powerful advantages of focusing on the work itself rather than the recognition that may come from it. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is eager to share each step of their journey, working in silence is like cultivating a quiet sanctuary for our goals and ambitions. It means we're able to remove unnecessary attention and distractions, leaving us free to pour our energy into the work and to become fully absorbed in it. Distractions come in many forms. They're not just external, such as social media comments or the opinions of others. They can also be internal, like self-doubt and the constant craving for validation. When we focus on working silently, we eliminate a lot of these external distractions and gradually minimize internal ones. When we're constantly sharing our journey, we become susceptible to feedback, criticism, and even praise, which can alter our trajectory. On the one hand, criticism can discourage us or make us second-guess our decisions, while on the other hand, praise can make us complacent or too focused on the opinions of others. Working in silence shields us from these risks, keeping our minds centered on what truly matters: steady, consistent progress. By avoiding these distractions, we can stay grounded in the vision and purpose we've set for ourselves. Staying grounded means having a strong foundation that keeps us focused, resilient, and determined even when things get tough. In the journey toward any meaningful goal, there will inevitably be challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. The people who are committed to working in silence often develop the ability to persevere without needing constant reassurance or support. They rely on their inner drive, staying grounded and centered because they've removed the external pressures of keeping up appearances or proving themselves to others. Their motivation is intrinsic, coming from their own passion and commitment rather than external validation. In silence, we can also experience the beauty of discipline. Without distractions, discipline becomes a daily practice that strengthens over time. Each day that we focus on the task at hand without worrying about external recognition, we build a habit of resilience and commitment. We're able to show up day after day focused on our objectives and willing to put in the effort required to reach them. This discipline creates a powerful momentum, allowing us to make steady progress toward our goals without needing an audience or approval. Working quietly and remaining grounded also allows us to be more strategic and thoughtful about our choices. When we are free from the pressure to share every step of our journey, we can take the time to reflect, adjust, and refine our approach. We aren't rushed by the need to perform for an audience. We're able to take a measured approach, learning from each experience and making deliberate choices about our next steps. By staying grounded, we ensure that each step we take is meaningful and aligned with our larger vision. It's easy to lose sight of our goals when we're constantly worried about how we appear to others. But when we work in silence, we're able to hold onto our purpose without wavering. Working in silence also cultivates humility. When we're not focused on publicizing our journey, we're less likely to become attached to the idea of impressing others or showing off. We're more open to learning, more willing to embrace mistakes, and more likely to approach our goals with an attitude of gratitude and humility. Instead of being driven by ego, we're driven by a desire to genuinely grow, improve, and make a difference. This humility keeps us grounded, reminding us that the work we do is ultimately more important than the praise we receive for it. So, working in silence helps us build a deeper connection with our goals and our purpose. Without distractions, we can take the time to understand why we're doing what we're doing. We can clarify our vision, identify our priorities, and develop a meaningful relationship with our work. This connection becomes a source of inspiration and motivation, fueling us to keep going even on days when progress seems slow or results are hard to see. By staying grounded in our purpose, we're able to find fulfillment in the journey itself, not just in the end result. In a world that often equates visibility with success, choosing to work in silence is a powerful act of self-trust. It's a statement that says, I believe in myself, my goals, and my vision enough to keep going, even if no one else is watching. This quiet confidence keeps us focused, undistracted, and fully committed to the path we've chosen. It reminds us that the work we put in day after day is building something meaningful, and that true satisfaction comes not from applause, but from knowing we stayed true to ourselves and our dreams. Working in silence and avoiding distractions may seem like a simple idea, but its impact on our lives and our goals can be profound. When we stay grounded and focused, we create a strong foundation that enables us to withstand any challenge, pursue our goals with determination, and ultimately achieve success that is not only visible but deeply fulfilling. Working hard in silence helps build consistency and discipline, two essential elements that contribute to lasting success and meaningful growth. In a world full of constant noise, distractions, and the pressure to share each step of our progress, developing these qualities can seem challenging. But by choosing to work quietly and consistently, we create a stable foundation for achieving our goals and developing ourselves in powerful ways. Consistency is often overlooked in favor of big, flashy wins or breakthrough moments, but the truth is that most success stories are built on the small, steady actions that are taken day in and day out. When we work in silence, we remove the need for external motivation and validation, allowing ourselves to rely on our own internal drive. This shift helps us stay focused on the small, daily steps that add up over time. Each day we show up, put in the work, and make progress, even if it feels slow or goes unnoticed. This steady, consistent effort compounds over time, turning into meaningful growth that cannot be achieved by intermittent bursts of effort or sporadic motivation. Discipline is what makes consistency possible, and working in silence allows us to develop it with greater focus. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like it. It's the commitment to keep going, to push through the days when the work feels difficult or uninspiring, and to stay true to our goals, even in the absence of immediate rewards. When we're not constantly seeking praise or recognition, we free ourselves from the ups and downs that come with external validation. We no longer depend on the opinions or approval of others to feel motivated. Instead, we rely on our own sense of purpose and commitment, strengthening our discipline each time we choose to work for ourselves rather than for an audience. Silently working towards a goal also allows us to build habits that align with our vision and goals. When we're constantly seeking attention or approval, it's easy to become distracted and shift our focus based on what will get the most likes or applause. But when we work quietly, we're able to build habits that support our long-term goals, regardless of whether or not anyone else notices. We create routines that keep us moving forward, that structure our day-to-day lives in a way that makes progress inevitable. These habits become a part of who we are, and over time, they form the backbone of our success. Consistency and discipline also teach us the value of patience, a virtue that's especially important when we're working toward ambitious or long-term goals. When we choose to work in silence, we're not looking for instant results, we're in it for the long haul. We understand that real growth takes time, and that progress is often slow and incremental. This perspective allows us to approach our goals with a sense of patience and acceptance. We stop looking for shortcuts or quick fixes, and instead, we embrace the idea of gradual improvement. Each day, each task, each effort becomes a part of the journey, and we begin to appreciate the small wins along the way. Another benefit of working in silence is that it gives us the freedom to make mistakes, learn, and adjust without feeling the pressure of public scrutiny. When we're not constantly sharing our progress, we're able to focus on our own learning process, taking the time to understand our mistakes and use them as stepping stones for improvement. This flexibility is crucial for building consistency because it allows us to stay on track, even when things don't go perfectly. Discipline doesn't mean doing everything right all the time. It means staying committed to the process, even when we stumble. Working quietly gives us the space to fall, get back up, and keep going without the distraction of outside opinions. Developing consistency and discipline through silent work helps us build a strong sense of self-confidence. This isn't the kind of confidence that comes from the approval or recognition of others. It's a quiet inner confidence that comes from knowing we can rely on ourselves. Each day that we show up and do the work, we're proving to ourselves that we're capable, resilient, and dedicated. Over time, this confidence becomes unshakable. It doesn't depend on external validation, and it doesn't waver when things get difficult. It's grounded in the knowledge that we have the strength and discipline to see our goals through no matter what. Working in silence to build consistency and discipline also helps us stay focused on what truly matters. When we're not constantly distracted by the need for attention, we can dedicate ourselves fully to our goals. We become less susceptible to trends, fads, or the opinions of others, and more attuned to our own path. This clarity keeps us aligned with our values and ensures that our efforts are directed toward goals that are meaningful to us, rather than being swayed by external influences. In the end, working hard in silence helps us cultivate a sense of peace and fulfillment that can't be achieved through applause or recognition. The satisfaction of knowing that we're making progress, staying disciplined, and staying true to ourselves is one of the most rewarding aspects of the journey. The consistency and discipline we develop in silence become lifelong qualities that help us succeed in any endeavor, no matter how big or small. And when the results of our hard work finally emerge, they're not just achievements, they're the proof of a commitment, a testament to our dedication, and a reflection of the silent strength we built along the way. When we work hard in silence, we allow our results to speak for themselves. This approach not only creates a powerful impact, but also brings a quiet sense of satisfaction that can be more rewarding than any immediate praise or applause. In a world where we often feel compelled to showcase each step of our journey, there's something unique, even magical, about letting success unfold naturally and letting the results stand as proof of our dedication rather than our words. By allowing our achievements to speak for us, we create a more genuine, lasting impact that goes beyond the surface level and resonates deeply with others. There's a reason why success that is achieved quietly tends to be more respected. When people witness the final results of someone's hard work, they see the outcome without having been led through every step of the process. They may not know the hours put in, the struggles endured, or the discipline maintained, but that's what makes the impact of silent work so powerful. It doesn't require explanation. Instead, it carries a certain mystery, a sense of awe, because it's clear that such success didn't happen overnight. It reflects effort, commitment, and resilience, showing that the person was dedicated enough to keep pushing forward without the need for constant validation. Allowing our results to speak for themselves can also bring a heightened sense of credibility. When someone is consistently focused on sharing their progress or accomplishments, they risk creating an impression of seeking validation rather than striving for genuine improvement. But when we work silently, we're not drawing attention to each small milestone. We're saving that energy for the work itself. This approach creates a contrast that makes the final outcome appear even more impressive. When people finally see what we've achieved, it's a complete picture of finished work that stands on its own, not fragmented by constant updates. This solidified success builds credibility, showing others that our results are not just talk, but a true reflection of our efforts. By letting results speak for themselves, we also avoid the risk of overpromising and under-delivering. When we work without broadcasting every goal or plan, we're free to adjust our approach without feeling pressured to meet others' expectations. Silent work provides the flexibility to try new things, experiment, and sometimes even fail, all without the fear of judgment. This freedom to adapt and refine our methods allows us to achieve higher quality results. When the time finally comes to share our success, it's something we're truly proud of because we've given ourselves the time and space to make it as strong as possible. Working silently and allowing results to speak also teaches us patience. In a culture that often emphasizes instant gratification, waiting to reveal our achievements until they're fully realized can be challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding. It encourages us to see success as a process rather than a series of immediate rewards. Patience enables us to become more invested in the quality of our work and the lessons we learn along the way, rather than focusing solely on reaching the end goal as quickly as possible. This kind of patience brings depth to our achievements as it reflects not only what we have accomplished, but also the growth, learning, and refinement we underwent in the process. Letting our results speak for themselves cultivates a sense of quiet confidence. When we're focused on the work rather than the recognition, we build a type of confidence that is internal rather than dependent on the opinions or applause of others. This quiet confidence doesn't require constant reinforcement. It's grounded in knowing we're capable of achieving our goals and that our success is the product of our own dedication. This inner confidence can be much more resilient and enduring than one based on external validation, as it remains steady even in the face of challenges or setbacks. Allowing our results to speak for themselves also gives us control over our narrative. Rather than allowing others to dictate how our progress or achievements are perceived, we're able to present a finished product that truly reflects our vision. There's no need to defend our choices, explain our setbacks, or justify our methods along the way. When we reveal our achievements, they reflect our true values and aspirations, unswayed by outside opinions. This approach gives our success an authenticity that resonates with others and demonstrates integrity. Working hard in silence and allowing the results to do the talking brings an intrinsic sense of fulfillment. When we're not driven by the desire to prove ourselves to others, we can enjoy the journey in a much deeper way. Each step, each challenge, and each victory become meaningful, not because they're publicly recognized, but because they're part of something we've personally committed to. The satisfaction that comes from seeing our own growth, knowing that we put in the time and effort without needing constant reassurance, is immensely rewarding. It's the kind of fulfillment that stays with us, reminding us that success is about more than just the applause. It's about personal mastery, growth, and the quiet pride that comes from knowing we've accomplished something worthwhile. In the end, allowing our results to speak for themselves is about honoring the journey as much as the destination. It's a reminder that true success doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops. It can be whispered confidently, quietly, and profoundly, and it will still be felt just as strongly. This approach to success is timeless, built on the understanding that the greatest achievements don't need loud announcements. They carry their own power, inspiring others by the strength of the results and the integrity of the journey that made them possible. Working hard in silence helps us develop inner resilience, a crucial strength that can sustain us through challenges, setbacks, and long journeys toward our goals. When we choose to work quietly without seeking constant validation or sharing every step of our progress, we begin to cultivate a resilience that comes from within, a resilience that is based on self-belief, determination, and the ability to stay focused even when the path gets tough. This inner resilience becomes a steady source of strength that helps us remain committed to our vision, regardless of external circumstances or the opinions of others. Resilience, at its core, is the ability to bounce back from difficulties and continue moving forward, even in the face of adversity. When we work in silence, we create an environment that nurtures resilience by removing the pressure of outside expectations. We're not working to impress others or to meet someone else's timeline. We're working for ourselves on our own terms. This freedom allows us to embrace challenges as part of the journey rather than as threats to our success or reputation. When setbacks occur, we're able to view them as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as failures that need to be justified or explained to an audience. When we work in silence, we are also able to focus on building mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to keep pushing forward, even when the going gets tough and when motivation feels low. It's easy to stay committed to a goal when everything is going smoothly and we're receiving praise or recognition. But real growth happens when we learn to stay committed even when no one is watching, when the results are slow to show, and when the work becomes challenging. Working in silence allows us to strengthen this mental toughness because we're focused on the work itself, not on how it will be received. We learn to rely on our own internal motivation rather than external validation, which makes us stronger and more capable of handling difficult situations. Silent work also helps us build resilience by fostering self-reliance. When we're constantly sharing our progress with others or seeking feedback, we can become dependent on their reactions, whether positive or negative. This dependence can weaken our resilience, as it makes us more vulnerable to the ups and downs of other people's opinions. By working quietly, we're able to develop a stronger sense of self-reliance. We learn to trust our own judgment, to make decisions based on our own goals and values, and to rely on our own inner strength to keep going. This self-reliance makes us less susceptible to the opinions of others and more focused on what truly matters to us, which strengthens our resilience over time. Another key aspect of resilience is patience, and working in silence allows us to cultivate this essential quality. Success, especially when it comes to meaningful and long-term goals, rarely happens overnight. It requires consistent effort over time and often involves periods of slow progress or even apparent stagnation. When we work quietly, we learn to value the process itself and to understand that growth and improvement take time. We become more patient, less focused on immediate results, and more willing to stay the course, even when progress isn't immediately visible. This patience is a vital component of resilience, as it enables us to keep going without becoming discouraged by temporary setbacks. Working in silence also allows us to develop a sense of purpose that goes beyond the need for validation or applause. When we're not focused on how others perceive our work, we're free to connect more deeply with our own reasons for pursuing our goals. This sense of purpose gives us a powerful foundation that helps us stay resilient in the face of challenges. We're not motivated by external rewards. We're driven by our own passion and commitment, which makes us less likely to give up when things get difficult. This deep, intrinsic motivation is a key factor in resilience, as it helps us remain focused on our goals even when the journey is tough. Inner resilience is also strengthened by the sense of quiet confidence that comes from working in silence. This confidence isn't flashy or showy, it's a steady, calm belief in our own abilities that doesn't require constant reinforcement. When we work quietly and allow our results to speak for themselves, we're building a confidence that is rooted in our own experiences and achievements, rather than in the opinions of others. This quiet confidence helps us face challenges with courage, knowing that we have the strength to overcome them. It's the kind of confidence that stays with us, even in difficult times, because it's based on our own hard work and dedication. In the end, working hard in silence and developing inner resilience go hand in hand. By choosing to focus on the work rather than on external validation, we give ourselves the freedom to grow, to learn from our mistakes, and to strengthen our commitment to our goals. This process of silent, Consistent effort builds a resilience that is unshakable, a resilience that can withstand any challenge and keep us moving forward no matter what. Inner resilience isn't just about enduring difficulties, it's about thriving in spite of them, using each challenge as a stepping stone toward our goals. When we cultivate this kind of resilience through silent work, we become capable of achieving success that is not only meaningful but also enduring, built on a foundation of strength that can't be shaken by the opinions or obstacles of the outside world. Working hard in silence allows us to find fulfillment in the journey itself, rather than solely in the end result. This mindset shift from focusing on outcomes to finding joy in the process transforms the way we approach our goals, enriching our lives and making the pursuit itself deeply satisfying. Often we get so caught up in the desire for success or recognition that we overlook the beauty and growth that come from the journey. But when we work quietly and focus on the present moment, we start to see each step as meaningful, learning to appreciate the process and finding fulfillment that lasts well beyond any achievement. When we choose to work in silence, we're free from the pressure to constantly prove ourselves to others. Without the distraction of external expectations, we're able to slow down and savor each moment. Instead of rushing to reach the finish line, we start to value the time, effort, and commitment it takes to reach our goals. This shift helps us cultivate mindfulness, which is the practice of being fully present in each moment. Mindfulness allows us to connect deeply with what we're doing, noticing the details and finding joy in each step. We become more attuned to the process, allowing ourselves to experience the journey in its entirety, rather than seeing it as just a means to an end. Focusing on the journey itself brings a sense of fulfillment that doesn't rely on recognition or validation. In silence, we learn to celebrate small victories and progress that might go unnoticed by others. Each improvement, each bit of growth becomes a source of pride and satisfaction. This kind of fulfillment is personal and internal, not dependent on applause or approval. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing that we're moving forward, learning and becoming better through our efforts. This intrinsic motivation fuels us to keep going, even when the going gets tough, because we're driven by our own passion and commitment rather than external rewards. In silence, we also have the opportunity to reflect on our progress and recognize our own growth. When we're constantly sharing our journey with others, we're often focused on how our progress appears rather than how it feels to us. Working quietly allows us to pause, look back, and appreciate how far we've come without feeling the need to compare ourselves to others. This self-reflection builds self-awareness, which is essential for personal growth. We start to see our strengths, our challenges, and the areas where we've grown, which brings a deeper sense of fulfillment than any external acknowledgement could. In the journey also teaches us resilience and patience. When we're not rushing toward the end result, we learn to appreciate the gradual nature of growth and improvement. We start to understand that real progress takes time and that each step, no matter how small, is a meaningful part of the journey. This patience allows us to remain committed even when progress seems slow or obstacles arise. We stop seeing setbacks as failures and instead view them as natural parts of the process. This perspective helps us stay focused and resilient, allowing us to keep moving forward without feeling discouraged by temporary challenges. Working quietly and focusing on the journey also encourages us to prioritize quality over quantity. When we're not working for external recognition, we're less likely to cut corners or look for shortcuts. Instead, we become more invested in doing our best work, knowing that the process itself is valuable. This attention to detail and commitment to quality brings a sense of pride in our work, which contributes to our fulfillment. We know that each step we take is meaningful and that we're putting our best effort into something we care about rather than just trying to achieve a quick result. Another benefit of finding fulfillment in the journey is that it encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for growth. When we're not focused solely on the end result, we start to see each obstacle as a chance to learn and improve. This growth mindset transforms our relationship with failure, allowing us to embrace challenges without fear. Instead of feeling defeated by setbacks, we learn to appreciate the lessons they offer and use them as stepping stones toward our goals. This shift in perspective makes the journey more fulfilling as it becomes a continuous learning experience that enriches us at every turn. In the journey also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we're not constantly focused on what's next, we become more appreciative of what we have and what we are right now. We start to see each day, each effort, and each small step forward as a gift, rather than just a means to an end. This gratitude enhances our experience of the journey, making it a source of joy and contentment. When we're grateful for each step, we're less likely to feel dissatisfied or impatient and more likely to enjoy the process. Learning to find fulfillment in the journey creates a foundation for sustainable success. When we're driven by our own passion and find joy in each step, we're less likely to burn out or lose motivation. This inner fulfillment keeps us going even when challenges arise or progress is slow. It gives us the energy to persevere because we're not working solely for the outcome, we're working for the love of the process itself. This kind of motivation is deeply sustaining, allowing us to continue pursuing our goals with enthusiasm and commitment. Working hard in silence and finding fulfillment in the journey transforms our relationship with success. It reminds us that the process is just as valuable as the outcome, and that real satisfaction comes from knowing we've done our best, learned, and grown along the way. When we learn to appreciate the journey, we create a life that's rich in meaning, joy, and resilience, a life where success is not just about reaching the finish line, but about finding purpose and happiness in each step of the path.